And this is Jeff McMahon with the Backstage Pass, powered by the Sports Guys. We are here this morning welcoming Pastor Shanda and Charlene Tilton here, and they are have made their way to Nashville as a part of the Love for Music City gala to raise money for the foster care system locally and worldwide, is my understanding.
Yes.
Hosting a big event. So thank you for carving some time out for us here this morning. And Pastor Shanda, if you can kind of give us an idea of what this event is about and what you're acknowledging this time.
Well, thank you so much for having us on today. Aren't we happy to be here?
Thank you, Jeff.
So we're here talking about our gala, our 5th annual gala. It's Tuesday, October the 5th. There's still time to get your tickets, but time is running out. It is a star-studded night. We got Crystal Gale, T. Graham Brown, Charlene Tilton, Cherish Lee. You can help me. I don't know. Buddy Jewel. It's a lot. We have a lot of celebrities.
Huge stars, yeah.
Yes. And all of the funds go to help Middle Tennessee foster care children and orphans. In America, we have orphans, but they are called foster care children. Around the world, they're called orphans. I was raised on the mission field of Mexico and Haiti. My parents were missionaries my entire life. So because of the 50 years of work of my parents, we have 3 debt-free compounds in Haiti. And I have space for more children. I just need the funds to continue to feed them. And going through COVID last year, one of our worst financial years ever, as probably most people watching probably say the same, but I can't not feed our children in Haiti.
Yeah.
If we don't send the money, they don't eat. So it's not like we support another work or we help. No, we completely underwrite those homes and our children. So that's where the money goes. And thank you so much for having us on today to talk about it, Charlene.
Oh, well, I got involved, Jeff, because 5 years ago, I was introduced to Pastor Shanda and her husband, Rob Tripp, and regarding the foster care system in Middle Tennessee. And I was raised in foster homes from the age of 5 years old to 8 years old. My mother was mentally ill, and she was institutionalized those 3 years, taken away from me.
Right.
So I was literally just one night at 3 a.m, went off to strangers in Kansas City and then shipped here and there and all over for those 3 years. And then reunited with my mother when I was 8 years old. And sadly, she had to go back when I was 15. So being a teenager, I did not want to get back in the foster care system. I sort of couch surfed on friends.
Right.
At friends' homes and families.
Technically, you were homeless, is what you would.
Yes,
really
I was homeless,
right?
And then I got my own apartment at the age of 16. So my heart is for these foster kids from the young age to the children that age out, and I call them children at 18. Yes, they're 18, but they still need to have a family. Yes. They're not just to be tossed out on their own without any skills to survive. And what I love about Love for Music City is I have watched them over the 5 years. I've got to meet and be up close and personal with these children in the foster care system, and tell them that their lives, that they matter, that they are loved, that God has a purpose for them, and to provide them things that they need, their backpacks, clothes, toys, everything that they would need, bedding, and it's all brand new. They are not given one thing that has been used. Everything that we provide them for is brand new. Pastor Shanda, tell them when somebody goes into, like I was taken in the middle of the night and sent to foster care system.
Mm-hmm.
Pastor Shanda knows this. So I was not presented with a gift bag when I went to foster care.
One of our main objectives and where the funds specifically go is to fund, we call them love packs, but it is a bag that has essentials in it. It has
Right.
hygiene items, pajamas, and we put a T-shirt in there because T-shirt you can go in public in, or you can sleep in it, right?
Sure.
And normally the child has been through some sort of trauma.
Mhm.
They were taken out of the home. Maybe it's a crime scene. Maybe the police don't want you to take anything out of the home. Maybe dad's drinking and our mom is drinking and driving, and they're taken out of the car in the middle of the night. That's very common. So the child is put into the system and they have nothing. They're taken to a foster care home. If they land a home that night, many times they end up sitting
Right.
in the office, and new foster parent wants them to take a shower, of course. So now they have nothing to put on. They're either wearing misfit clothes that the foster parent has come up with, or
Right.
right. So we give
Sure.
the child through DCS, through different programs of foster care, such as youth villages, Camelot. We have the ability to put the bag in the child's hand that night. My goal is to do it for every single child in Tennessee and then the rest of America. We have a couple of projects going in Arkansas, some other states, but that's my initiative. And that bag, what we see is just a bag. What we see is just some hygiene items. They see as value. They see as self-worth. They see as someone actually cared enough to give me this bag and give me a little dignity in this horrendous situation.
Yeah.
And so that's the way that we're trying to show them that they matter, but it all costs money.
Sure.
It
Sure.
all costs money.
And the numbers are staggering.
Yeah.
What is it? How many fosters?
We have
900?
over 9,000 foster care
9,000.
children in the state of Tennessee, and we
Yeah.
only have approximately 6,000 foster parents. Now, some you're going to have multiple children of siblings, right? But you see the misfit there. So these kids end
Yeah.
up in all kinds of situations because there's not enough places for them.
Right. Well, and you talk about the T-shirt, and that's, I think that's such a poignant image because, people hear the big numbers, they hear the 9,000, they hear the millions, they hear the countries, they hear,
Yeah.
but then they see a plastic bag with a T-shirt is a perfect image because it lets you understand the difference of that T-shirt to that kid in that environment at that time
That moment.
versus the T-shirt that somebody picked up as an afterthought, at the airport because they forgot to get something, before they left their vacation.
That's right.
I know one of the things that people will find if they poke around like I was, I know that you've been involved in this thing in Haiti for at least 11 years because I found some video.
Well, my whole
from
life. I was
back
3
then.
months old the first time I went to
Right.
Haiti. We always had a home.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Well, and I saw that plastic bag from something that at least on the internet was dated 11 years old. So it's got to be true
doubt.
because it's on the internet.
Right. Exactly.
And one of the things that you were giving people was a bottle of corn oil. Now, that's a couple of bucks at the grocery store.
At our
Why
grocery
does that matter? Why does that? What does that woman? What does that woman do with that changes their life for a while?
Well, Haiti is the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere. You have to go to Bangladesh to find anybody any poorer than you will in Haiti. And it's only a 4-hour plane trip from Tennessee. It's 1,000 miles across the ocean from our border. People are starving. Children are starving in the street. They are absolutely destitute. And so my parents would have huge feeding programs, and I have picked up the mantle and do the same. And we will give people maybe a 5-gallon, a Ziploc bag of beans, a thing of oil, because to cook, here's the thing, in Haiti, used to be a gallon of gas in America was like $1.50. I know it's climbing. It's always been $5 and $6 a gallon in Haiti. What a thing of cooking oil that might be $5 or $6 in America, it'll be 12 or 18 in Haiti. Their average income is $400 a year. So if you can't even buy oil to cook with, your family is starving to death. So that bag of oil and that bag of beans literally means that a family can stay alive for another week. That's really what that means. A hungry mama can nurse her baby. I cannot tell you the times that I've had a mother bring me her child, and it's like, I don't want your baby. We can't take in one more child. But I put myself in her shoes. If I was a mom and I was starving to death, and I was watching my baby literally starve, what would I do? And that's what always gets me. It's like, oh
Yeah.
my goodness.
Yeah, I actually saw an example of that on something, some piece of video where you were addressing a Haitian woman that not only had 2 kids but was pregnant.
That's right. Her husband had
At the
died in an
time.
earthquake. That's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And yeah, she was I don't think she asked you. I think she said you can take them if you want to.
That's right.
Yeah.
Isn't that right?
Yeah.
And just so you know, I completely take care of that mother and her 3 children to this day. I actually gave them a little apartment in one of the side of one of our orphanages, and put them through school. There is no free school in Haiti. There is no school bus that comes and picks up your children. So we have to feed them, clothe them, put them through school. And when an American entity, I don't want to get into politics, but when an American entity goes to Haiti and has an orphanage, they put us through it. So we have to put them in private school. We have to do all these different things,
Right.
Because we're registered as an orphanage. Now, if they were just taking care of themselves, you don't have to go to school. You can starve in the ditch. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
So we have to give them the best care because we are an American organization. But I'm honored, and it's my assignment in life, and I get to do it. I don't have to do it, but
Right.
I do need your help in interviews like this and audiences that are listening today. I hope that your heart is being touched because there is a need, and if you will help, something can be done. And people like Charlene, what I love about Charlene is she shows the value. I'm so thankful that somebody took you in. I'm so thankful that somebody cared for you for those 3 years that you were in foster care.
Thank you. I am too.
Yeah, you know.
No, I was. My story wasn't like just someone took me in and everything was great. No, I went from foster care to foster care. I wasn't wanted. I wasn't, kind of tossed around.
Right.
And, the same thing was going to happen to me when I was 15, and I didn't want to go through that again.
Yeah.
So, but what I'm saying is, if you are not in the position to actually open your home to take in a foster child in the state of Middle Tennessee, at least purchasing a ticket if you are here in Tennessee on the 5th of October to come to the gala, that would be great. You could come to this wonderful star-studded event to raise money, or you could participate on our online auction. We have, and that is worldwide. Yep. And as Christmas is coming, you can get great gifts. We have a signed football helmet from Tim Tebow. We have a guitar signed by Miranda Lambert. We have a photograph taken by Steve Shapiro, who's considered one of the greatest photographers ever. He's chronological. He has been Barbra Streisand's photographer since day one, and JFK and Martin Luther King. But he has a never before published photo of Barbra Streisand that he has signed and is auctioning off. So anyway, we have a lot of really unusual
Daly, golf stuff.
John Daly golf memorabilia that is signed.
Wow.
Brothers. Yeah, we have a lot. And that's where the country music community and the gospel music community, they do care, and they're stepping up and they're helping. And I want everyone to know how much we appreciate it. Yeah.
But I do understand that people can't maybe necessarily take in somebody. But if you go to loveformusiccity.org, you can participate on the online auction, and all that money, all those things have been donated. All that money does go to providing care and resources for these foster children. When does the auction, because I don't even know this, when does it close? When does it open and close?
It will, I believe it doesn't open until Tuesday morning, and it will close about 10 o'clock that night.
So Tuesday the 5th.
You'll have that day. So you need to be watching your stuff and start bidding when it opens.
So Tuesday, October 5th.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So everybody can look it up now and set their alarms and bookmark all the pages and get ready for all that.
No, because that stuff's, I mean, it's going to be
one of a kind stuff. Yeah.
Sure.
Right. Yeah.
Well, and certainly not ever to diminish the mission. But part of the attraction to this event is some of the entertainment and some of the people that are going to be there. Certainly Crystal Gale is a tremendous talent, and she's going to be acknowledged. But I want to talk about you for just a minute, Charlene, because everybody knows Dallas. I grew up in a little town north of Dallas, so I knew all about that little town called Gainesville, Texas.
Oh, yes, of course.
Yeah, so I was right there in the thick of it. And everybody knows Dallas, but But your career has touched so many things. I wonder even sometimes somebody outside connects threads that you don't even connect. Um, Things like Al Molinaro. I found out that Al Molinaro, the guy that played Al on Happy Days, which you were on, also was the drapery guy in Freaky Friday, which you were in.
I know, isn't that amazing? And Dick Van Patten, who was in Freaky Friday, ended up playing my father in a movie of the week that I did. So yes, the past
Right.
Freaky Friday was my very first professional job. It was
Sure.
starring Jodie Foster and Barbara Harris, and it was a wonderful Disney movie, the original Freaky Friday, not the remake.
Right.
And that was my very first job. I got to work with Jodie Foster, and which was amazing. And she, of course, iconic. And yes, that was my very first acting job.
Well, and you've had opportunity to work with so many people that again took these. It's kind of like what we were talking about with the canola oil or whatever. It's nobody would have expected I Dream of Jeannie to lead to Dallas for Larry Hagman. Nobody would have expected Freaky Friday or the Happy Days dance marathon to last 40 years later, where people still remember that. I mean, that's the first time that I remember recognizing who you were when I saw it. But and I know we have to finish up, but I want you to tell that story that you were telling right before we went on about the music video that was based on the dance marathon. Did you said the music video for Weezer was based
Buddy
on
Holly, their hit song Buddy Holly,
right?
Which I love that song. So Weezer, the group, their music video has clips from the infamous, iconic Happy Days episode of the dance marathon, where myself and my partner are competing against Fonzie in this dance marathon.
Yep.
And so I'm
in the video.
I just by default, I'm one of the stars of Weezer's music video. Have not been contacted, have not been paid, but that's all good. Honey, Weezer, I don't care. I love it. I have a Weezer t-shirt. I love it.
Well, and based on Buddy Holly, and it was a spoof of Buddy Holly. And who played Buddy Holly in the Buddy Holly story? Gary Busey, who you also had a scene with in Big Wednesday.
That was one of my second jobs, the infamous surfing movie Big Wednesday.
Yeah.
And I'll just tell you a quick Gary Busey story. There was a scene. I was supposed to be this little, beach babe on the beach in my little tiny bikini with myself and my girlfriends, and he was coming along. And so we did the scene. He's supposed to walk along and see us and then stop and talk to us and talk to me. And then like the third time he walks along and we start, and then all of a sudden he starts improvising and he says something, oh, you are so cute, so hot. And he jumps on me and we start rolling around in the sand and we make this big scene. And that's what ended up in the movie.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
I was at least smart enough to know Gary Busey, as we all know and love, is a little whoo, and which was great because it's what makes him a fabulous actor. And he was then. But that improvised scene is what made it in the movie. So I got to roll around and stand with Gary Busey.
Yep. Which led to Dallas.
Yes, it was one of the stepping stones that got me to
one
Dallas.
Of the stepping stones.
But I will say this. Coming from foster care and my background, I had hope. And it was just a God-given thing, but to believe in myself. But that's what these foster kids need. They need, you're talking about the gifts that you give them. My whole life, and I'm not kidding you, and I kind of liked it at the time, all my clothes were hand-me-down. I never had anything new. Every bit of clothes all through school were hand-me-downs. And I thought that was kind of fun. It was cool. But these kids, they need to know that they matter and that they are loved and that there is hope and there's a future for them. And that's what Love for Music City does for them. So I'm just so honored to be a part of this. I'm so glad I met them 5 years ago and I haven't left since. They
Yeah.
can't get rid of me.
Well, I'm sure they don't want to. You guys have a full day. I appreciate the time. Tell us one more time where they can go for any information to get to the event.
You can go to loveformusiccity.com, loveformusiccity.org. You can find us on all social media. We'd appreciate it if you'd hop over and like our page on Facebook, on YouTube, our Instagram. We're trying to hit some goals and get some big social media followings, make it a little easier to get the word out. We appreciate what you're doing so much. Thank you for letting us be a part today. Participate in the auction. Anybody can do that.
Tuesday morning,
Tuesday
October
morning.
5th. Click on because those items are one of a
They're
kind,
awesome items.
and they're going to go. So get onto that auction and start your bidding.
We will do it. Thank you so much for the time.
you.
Everybody go to the event. I expect to be there.
Oh,
And
yay!
hopefully
Okay,
we
well,
will
look forward to
see you
seeing
guys there.
Oh, I can't wait to hang
Wonderful.
out.
All right,
Awesome.
thank you. We'll look
All
forward
righty.
to that. Bye-bye.
Thank you guys.
Thank you, Jeff.
Take care.